How's it going, guys? This is going to be the first video on this channel. Sorry if it is all over the place. I've tried recording this 100 times, and every single time I mess it up in some way or just end up with something that is not coherent. So hopefully this will be the one. This video is mainly just going to be me kind of giving a little bit of background on why I'm making this channel, introducing myself a little bit. I'm not even sure how many people are really going to see it because I'm still not 100% sure if it's something that I'm going to advertise on my main YouTube channel. This is kind of a secondary channel of mine. My main one is called Retro Zero. It's where I post videos about, retro games and collecting and that kind of stuff, which obviously very, very different kind of content. But I just really wanted to make a place where I can kind of sit down, hop on a game and talk about either a topic, a story, vent about something, anything like that, where I don't have to have this crazy, well-researched, well thought out thing. Also just kind of put anything that's not thematically related to my main channel. And something that viewers of my main channel might not even really know about, that I actually started making YouTube videos back in like 2015 on Call of Duty. So it wasn't always retro gaming and collecting and everything for me. There was a time back when I was in like middle school, early high school, where I really wanted to join big team like FaZe or Optic or SOAR, something like that. And all I was doing every single day after school was just grinding, making YouTube videos, playing Call of Duty, hitting trick shots, clips, that kind of stuff. And it was a pretty fun time looking back on it. There were definitely some good things that came from it, not just my experience with making videos and thumbnails and editing and everything like that, but also some cool people that I met. I'm actually still friends with a couple of them, so shout out to like Retro, for example, who I probably talked to the most out of anyone from that time, but he's actually a competitive Smash player in Canada now, which is really cool. And I originally met him through a Call of Duty team that I was in. He got kicked out. I stood up for him, ended up causing a bunch of drama. Long story short, I also got kicked, and we ended up joining a couple teams after that together, and we just kind of sit on Skype all night and play Call of Duty and try to hit trick shots and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. But over time, I kind of made my way up the ladder a little bit and joined a few different teams. I joined one called Arise, and I joined one called Front Chapters, then Gold Sanctuary. I don't know if anybody watching this was around at that time, if any of those teams ring a bell at all. Probably not, because they were never really that big. But I'd always try to work my way up and join these bigger and bigger teams and everything. I was forcing myself to basically daily upload and play Call of Duty all day to try to hit a trick shot or something to make my video interesting. And it just really got to the point where it was too much. I was doing all of that on top of being in school and trying to juggle that. And then I also had IRL friends, and it just got to be a lot. So at a certain point, I ended up kind of getting burnt out and just quitting entirely. Stopped playing Call of Duty, stopped making videos, stopped talking to a lot of the people that I was talking to at the time. And it really wasn't until the pandemic in 2020 when I really wanted to start creating content again. During that, I just had a bunch of downtime, so I started watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I started watching a lot of stuff on retro gaming, which is always something that I had some interest in. My parents bought me a Nintendo 64 in like 2017 as a birthday gift, so most 12-year-olds don't ask for retro video games for their birthday. But that was something that I was kind of into for a bit, but I really started getting into it during the pandemic, just with all the free time that I had. And I started collecting and buying all this cool stuff. And after a point, I'm like, why don't I use some of that stuff that I learned from making my old Call of Duty videos to try to create something about my new hobbies and what I enjoy doing now? And that's kind of what created that whole channel. So it is kind of funny because I have over like 700 uploads on my old channel. I was doing videos every single day. Every video is like 15 minutes long. Like there is hours and days and probably months of content on that channel if you just watched it back to back. And I still only ever capped out at around 800 subscribers. And off just a few videos on my newer channel, I already hit, I'm up to 3,000 right now, but I was able to hit 1,000 within like a year of making that retro content. So it just shows that it is quality over quantity. And you know, things will work out better if you do things in a more healthy way, because the way I was doing it before was definitely not healthy. I was stressing myself out trying to keep an upload streak. I remember there was one year where me and my family went on a vacation down to South Carolina, and I was so afraid of missing an upload that I recorded like 15 videos extra and had them all edited and made thumbnails and had everything all set up so I could upload them off my laptop while I was on vacation. And I was doing all of that on top of dealing with schoolwork and everything. So I was spending my entire night from the second I got home to the second I went to bed just working on Call of Duty videos. Surprisingly, it never really affected my grades in school much. I know for a lot of people who've been kind of through the same thing, like I've heard a lot of like the phase guys when they started and they were in school and everything. It was hard for them to juggle it. For me, I was able to do it, but it was just a lot of stress. This channel, for example, I'm not making any sort of an upload schedule. I'm not making daily videos, weekly videos, anything like that. I'm strictly going to upload when I can and when I want to, and only when I actually have a topic to talk about. Because the problem also was the content I was making back then was so boring because I had no topic at all to talk about. I would just upload a video because a video had to be uploaded. So I would just get on, join a server, not have any stories, not have any topics, not have any interesting things to say. I would just sit there and ramble and yap for, you know, an hour, try to cut it down to something that was somewhat cohesive, and then just pray that I'd hit a clip or something during that recording to make that video interesting. Definitely learned a lot on how to do a lot of things and how not to do a lot of things. I still look back at that time with a lot of nostalgia, and that's kind of what made me want to create this channel, because I do miss aspects of that, especially starting out. It was a lot of fun when I actually had fresh things to talk about and I wasn't so burnt out. It was a lot of fun to just sit down and talk and have somewhere to post these videos. And now with my new channel being kind of set to a specific genre and a specific topic, I wanted to make somewhere where I could actually kind of venture away from that and talk about other things. Hopefully it's something that you guys find enjoyable. Like I said, I don't even know if I'm going to promote this channel on my main one, so I'm not expecting it to go anywhere. I'm not expecting it to really have a whole lot of views. I'm more making it just for myself, so I have somewhere to talk about things and just post random stuff. If you guys do enjoy this video and do like this kind of content and want to see more, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you guys think the retro gaming content might be something you might want to check out, I will throw a link down in the description. I'm not sure exactly when my next video is going to be. It could be a couple days from now, could be weeks, could be months. I'm not even sure. But whenever that ends up being, I will see you guys later. Goodbye.